This week we take a look at what's new in the world of warships. Angelo emerges from the mechs to share his thoughts on Titanfall 2, and we chat with Arcane Studios' Sebastien Mitton, the art director from Dishonored 2. This is Player Attack. Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this week, even while the dust is only just settling from PAX Australia, we are getting ready for the next big gaming event to hit our shores. RTX Sydney is happening in Darling Harbour in February. While you can expect all the usual Rooster Teeth Funhouse and Slow-Mo Guys type guests, there is one more name that's been revealed this week that might just convince you to attend if you're on the fence. Hideo Kojima. Yes, the industry veteran, creator of Metal Gear Solid and the man behind upcoming game Death Stranding, will be in Sydney, in person, from February 4 to 5 on 2017, discussing his career in video games and looking forward to the future he's carving for himself at Kojima Productions. Tickets are available now through Moshtix. And speaking of events, BlizzCon 2016 was also held recently, and while we didn't get the Diablo 4 reveal we were hoping for, we did get plenty of other fun stuff for fans. First up, the Necromancer, fan favourite class from Diablo 2, will also now be appearing in Diablo 3 sometime in 2017. The new character class will be available as a pack that you'll need to purchase separately, but if you want some new free content, you want to play the game in January for the Diablo anniversary event. Gamers will travel to Tristram to confront Diablo, just like we did in the original game 20 years ago. But if Overwatch is more your thing, there is a new character on the way for that one as well. Mexican gunslinger Sombra is an offense character with a 3-star difficulty rating. Her skills include deadly machine gun accuracy, hacking, using thermoptic camouflage to become invisible, and setting off the occasional EMP. Sombra will be added to the game shortly. And from one beloved publisher info dump to the next, November means it was N7 Day recently, the annual BioWare celebration. This year, of course, all eyes were on Mass Effect Andromeda, and we were not disappointed. First up, there was the official cinematic reveal trailer, which really speaks for itself.
I have a bad feeling.
We're the aliens. My God.
Then there was the news that the game is getting a multiplayer beta for console, and you can sign up for that one right now on the BioWare website, which is also packed with more news about the upcoming release. Meanwhile, if you would prefer to revisit the universe you already know and love, all 3 games are now backward compatible on Xbox One. If you have a digital copy of the games, it's a simple matter of re-downloading your purchases from the Xbox Store. On the other hand, if you own the Xbox 360 discs of Mass Effect 1, 2 or 3, pop them into your new console and you're good to go. You'll only need the first disc of each game to play the entire thing, with Microsoft explaining it will act like a key rather than holding the actual game data. On to quick news, and there is a lot of it this week. Nintendo's new retro mini NES has been selling out almost as quickly as it goes on sale in most retailers, and then popping up on online retailers just as fast for inflated prices. Buyer beware, don't pay too much for this one. Nintendo was also the topic of conversation this week as the UK price for the upcoming Switch console was allegedly revealed, which also uncovered the fact that there might be 2 different versions. The basic unit will allegedly set you back £200, while a premium unit, which includes more storage space and a game, will run you $250. That's about $330 Australian for the cheaper one before the inevitable Australia tax price hike, or $250 in the US. Obviously, have a grain of salt with this one, and let's wait for Nintendo to make an official statement. In more console news, sales of the PlayStation 4 have tripled in the UK thanks to the launch of the PS4 Pro, meaning Sony takes home 53% of the console share market, dwarfing Microsoft's Xbox One share of just 37%. And another rumour for you, stories are doing the rounds that Microsoft didn't necessarily want to announce Project Scorpio quite as early as it did. According to sources, the tech giant felt it was forced into the announcement following the almost constant stream of leaks about the PlayStation Neo, which we now know as the PS4 Pro. Microsoft is also blaming someone else for the disastrous launch of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare on Windows 10. Activision is being thrown firmly under the bus for this bug, which affected gamers who bought the new FPS via the Windows 10 store. Basically, Windows 10 store customers were placed into an isolated game world of their own, where they could only enjoy multiplayer matches with each other, completely separate to the much larger Steam-powered player base. Apparently, Microsoft was thoroughly invested in crossplay between the two PC platforms, but Activision just wasn't up for it. Happily, Microsoft is offering refunds for anyone who wants it and encourages fans to go buy the game on Steam. Wargaming has announced a new attack as part of its quest to take over the world. Wargaming Alliance is a new publishing label specialising in free-to-play titles. The first one has just been announced, Total War Arena from Creative Assembly and Sega. It's a 10v10 strategy battler coming to PC at some time in the not-so-distant future. And if you like the sound of that, EA might also have a treat for you, or it might not. The company has just registered a new trademark for something called Need for Speed Arena, which could be some sort of car-related MOBA, or it could be a mobile game, or it could be an esports thing. As usual, the registration refers to computer game software, video game software, and an online computer game, so at this stage, your guess is really as good as ours. And finally this week, some of the best game-movie crossover news we have heard in months. The story is beautiful. A best-selling author is struck down by writer's block and moves to the country to try and find inspiration. One day he stands on his porch and gazes out at the garden where he sees a single cat. The writer decides to leave some food for the cat in his garden when he goes to bed, and this is the beginning of Nico Atsume, the movie. Nico Atsume no Ai is a Japanese-only project at this stage, set for release in 2017. And before you ask, it's live action with real cats. For more information on any of these stories, or to keep up to date with the latest gaming news, head to playerattack.com. But for now, stick around, we've got plenty more still to come.
Weapons hot! Stand by for Titanfall! Get to cover, pilot. We're taking down that wall.
The original Titanfall was not a very successful game. It had some great ideas but lacked any real substance for people to come back to for a full-price shooter. EA and developer Respawn Entertainment, the studio that rose from the ashes of the Modern Warfare games, have gone back to the drawing board and taken another stab at their new IP, and they've nailed it this time in Titanfall 2. The biggest improvement this time around is the inclusion of a fully fledged solo campaign as opposed to a half-baked quote-unquote story woven into multiplayer. The story is cheesier than a stuffed crust pizza.
That was the easy part.
A tropey human-robot companionship story, caricatured bad guys,
You were not invited to Kane's party.
and nonsensical sci-fi time traveling. But damned if it isn't just as tasty. You play as Jack Cooper, aspiring Titan pilot in another cadet to super soldier scenario who gets partnered with Titan BT7274 after its original pilot, your mentor, is KIA. There's lots of wall running, sliding, and things to shoot at, but here in Titanfall everything feels fresh, slicker, more fun. The game is absolutely stunning to look at, whether it's admiring the visual design or being in a trance-like state from all the frenetic action. There wasn't a single moment in-game when the engine had trouble keeping up, which is a feat in itself considering the amount of mayhem happening at any time. That said, unfortunately the game's action is mostly scripted. The linear story does well to lead the player to some great set pieces and Titan battles, but the game doesn't feature particularly free-flowing physics for more dynamic action. Regardless, it doesn't keep the bombastic action from being any less fun. At first, the wall running and first-person platforming seems complicated, but after a couple of missions the game has you doing it almost as second nature and leaves you wanting this kind of maneuverability from all Twitch shooters. The real meat and potatoes of the game though are the Titans. The campaign features BT-7274, who starts out with the basic expedition build, but over the course of the game gains new weapons and combat builds. The way the player gains these new weapons is very Mega Man-esque. Beat the boss and take their weapon to unlock new Titan variants. In fact, as the title suggests, the Titans are the real stars of the show. BT is obviously influenced from other classic robot icons like Optimus Prime, Johnny 5, and the Iron Giant. While stories like these have become kinda cliche, with the machine unable to relate to human emotions and the like, BT is written well enough to get some genuine laughs from the moments he tries to understand. It makes the tale more heartwarming than you'd expect. Whether or not Titanfall 2 will have a lasting effect on the shooter battleground is multiplayer. From here on out, EA has declared that any and all DLC will be made available to anyone who purchases the game. No more expenses are necessary for everyone to enjoy Titanfall together. And while I'm not much of a competitive shooter guy myself, I came back to playing Titanfall 2's multiplayer because it's just so much fun. The matches last a maximum of 10 minutes and they're often quick to connect, though I'm still yet to find a capture the flag match. The upgrade system is robust and feature-packed enough that I actually want to keep working forward to unlock more gear for both my pilot and Titan. The multiplayer has a choice of 8 gameplay types such as territories called Amped Hardpoints, Deathmatch called Attrition, and Free-for-all. And at no point does the game feel unbalanced when Titans drop into the arena, as pilots can be set up with anti-Titan guns. Your Titan can even be set to either protect and follow you, or engage the battlefield on its own so you can both continue wrecking shop separately. Like the original game, the end of each online match finishes with an epilogue, where the losing team's players have to retreat back to a dropship pickup point to escape. These have no bearings on the match's result, but is an always fun aspect to the game. The winning team gets to gloat if they wiped out all remaining opponents, and the losing team gets to retain some sort of victory if they're extracted safely. I can't stress enough how much fun I had with Titanfall 2, mostly to my surprise. The original game was enjoyable, but lacked any lasting appeal and substance. This sequel, on the other hand, feels like a package worth the time and money to spend in. The biggest improvement I could see being made in a third installment is a co-op campaign and possibly air or space battles. But with the more focused, intimate ground skirmishes, Titanfall feels polished to a shine. The sense of scale between being a pilot and Titan feels great and balanced. Taking down a Titan 10 times bigger than me by grappling on top and sabotaging its power source feels badass. And stepping on a pilot or coincidentally dropping a Titan on top of an enemy is always hilarious. If you're someone who's been itching for a slice of something different in action games this year, you're in safe hands with Titanfall 2.
But when that day comes, I hope I can live up to the honor.
This is the story of a throne at the heart of an empire, casting a shadow over 3 lives. The Empress, brought down by assassins, the daughter who watched her mother die, and the man who would have torn out his heart to keep them both safe. Now his lessons have made young Emily strong, but with an empire at stake, will that be enough?
What has changed in the world of Dishonored 2? There's now 2 people that we can play as in the new game.
Yeah, we have 2 people. We have Corvo, who is back. He's a badass assassin. Emily is quite a rookie. She just trained herself a bit outside in Dunwall, and she will start the adventure and discover a new world. She has a different vision of the life compared to Corvo, who's the old assassin. The other character in the game is Karnaca, the new city. So what's cool is that Corvo is from Karnaca, so we'll visit the city again. He's now voiced, so we'll get some information from him while you play. And Emily is quite new to this city, and she'll discover from a different angle. But that's really rich in terms of adventure and how we manage to put the story with lines, with paintings, with lots of things.
Now you're talking about paintings and you're talking about the city as a character. You are actually art director on this project, which means you've had a fair bit to do with how this new character of Karnaca actually looks.
Yeah. So yeah, we spent a lot of time crafting the city. From the first day, we had decided to move to the edge of the known world to create a real contrast with Dishonored 1. As a gift to the player, let's do a journey somewhere else. And we spent time analyzing some photography, all British colonies. We had pictures from Australia, by the way, to try to understand how British people adapt to a place which is warmer and different from their original country. Then we've built slowly the city. We did a gigantic file in 3D of the city, and then we've picked up spots in the city where it was making sense to set up cool missions. So the whole city exists. When you are playing a mission, you can see the other side of the bay, and it gives a sense of open world while it's not an open world, but it's all connected and people feel like, wow, it's cool. People think that it's just more sunny, but in fact it's a real different atmosphere, but this is the same feeling of Victorian, the technology is quite the same, but done by another inventor. So we've tried not to copy our old data to the new game. We've crafted new stuff, but it still have this flavor of depth into the world.
The first time you get to sit down and play the finished game, who are you playing as?
I will play Emily because it's brand new, so I want to discover Emily a bit more. I will do it myself because I play the game in a weird way. I'm a developer, so each time I start, then I stop, I review things, I want to polish here and there, I talk to people, I stop my playthrough and I come back. So during my holidays, I will play like the full game, like a real gamer. And Emily is really... We've put a lot of energy on her. We were really attached to the small girls in Dishonored 1, and I really love the new power, the way you can combine the power. I really like her lines. Our narrative designer, Sandra Duval and Harvey Smith, did a lot of effort on trying to do something really rich. At some point, we were like close to give up because people were not understanding our standards or DNA. And Bethesda allowed us to do that. Express yourself, you are a first-person action specialist, so we want to work with you. And so that's what we do now. And every day I'm super happy to go at work. Each day is a challenge. We have like great ideas. We try to make it come to life, and that's cool. Yeah, that's a good job.
I'm so glad when people are so happy about what they're working on, and the fact that you're making so many of us so happy by making such great games.
Yeah, it's important to be happy, otherwise your game, like you feel the sadness of the guy who... So here we're happy, you'll be able to play the game today. And this is really important to us. We are gamers and we do games for gamers. We are... 4 years have gone, and it's out today. We're like, wow. You walk into your bubble during 4 years, and now it's like happening, and you're like, woo, that's cool. And people are really excited. When I talk to people here at PAX, they are like, wow, I love your game. I remember the first time we had a hands-on, it was at Eurogamer, I guess. And we were like waiting, a bit like worried, we didn't know what to expect, and we hear like people shouting in the studio like, "Wow, that's so cool!" They were with the audio on their face and just talking to themselves while they were trying the demo. It was really exciting. We had no bugs, no crash, nothing. It was all smooth. So we were like, "Oh, it's cool." They enjoy it, for real. Yeah, it's tough because 4 years of development, and then it can turn into something weird. And it was a really good experience to see live their reaction and talk to them directly. It was cool.
We'll be face to face soon. Delilah.
So the first Australian ship will be added into World of Warships. Happy to announce that the HMAS Perth is being added into the game. It'll be the first Australian ship similar to the Royal Navy ships because it's a Leander class that was brought over to Australia. It's really similar to the Royal Navy tree cruisers, but it'll be unique with its HE, and it won't have healing, but it's got a longer distance torpedo. It will be in the Commonwealth tree. First, we had plans to put it into the Pan Asia tree, but then, you know, you have the Taiwan commanders and them riding the Australian ship wouldn't work. So then we had the other option of putting it into the Royal Navy tree, but then talking to the devs, we thought it should be on a tree of its own. Well, it's not even in that, so we added it to the Commonwealth tree. But then again, there's actually no other ships in the Commonwealth tree that we can add. Like, another one we thought of was maybe Canada, but we don't even have any plans for that at the moment. So right now it'll be on its own, and maybe we'll see stuff in the future, but nothing planned at the moment. So like we do with all the other ships, we had to do some research, get resources, talk to the Navy and the museums in Australia to fetch the resources. The plan of adding a ship into the game from Australia was actually decided like at the end of last year. So since then we've been working to get the ship into the game. We had other options such as HMAS Australia or Sydney, but in the end, talking to the devs with the resources that we had, we ended up making HMAS Perth, which is a great ship. We have these military specialists in the company who their job is to work with the military and the museums and the historians to get the necessary resources to make the ships. Being a really unique ship, we think that it would be, we would see it a lot in the game. It should be very powerful ship compared, in the tree itself and also in the tier-wise. We are planning, we've been planning this to release like a port specific for Australia as well. Another problem with this, we want to make that historical as possible as well, but trying to find the resources and the photos from back there so we can actually get that into the game. So this year it was introducing more trees from like the Russian cruisers, the German battleships that came out. So for next year, one of the main focuses for us is to bringing more features so we can focus more on esports. Thinking of adding like a training mode, adding clans, so there'll be more teams and more features so we can have tournaments next year. Also, we'll be releasing more branches of ships. Haven't got anything finalized, but that will be the main focus of next year.
And that's about it for this edition of Player Attack. Thanks for watching. Next week, Mike is back digging through his video game shoebox to spend some time with everybody's favourite hyperkinetic 3-foot rabbity thing, and Angelo keeps his reviewing hat on for a little while longer with a look at Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. In the meantime, you can catch us at playerattack.com. We're on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, and if you've got something you want to say, send us an email, mailbox@playerattack.com, or just hop on our forums. Also, if you want to support Player Attack, you can find us on Patreon and help us bring you the latest in gaming news, plus all these wonderful interviews and reviews from the world of video games. Till next week, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this is Player Attack.